Hello, welcome to this evening session on the contemplative prayer, a time for us to gather, to come together, to breathe deeply, to accept where we are, to be present to this moment. Welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Deborah, and I absolutely love the journey and the gift of silence. It's taught me so much about myself, so much about my relationship with God, and so much about my relationship with others. So I want to welcome you to this time. And tonight we're going to do 3 short meditations, 3 short pieces that fit together like a little jigsaw puzzle. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a body scan. We're going to start with scanning our body and just becoming very present and grounded in our body. And I love the idea that we are, I'm just going to read something to you. We are the embodiment of our faith and our hopes. And we're not just made up of spirit or soul, we're made up of mind, body, spirit, and soul. So it's important for us to remember that and to be present and nurture each of those aspects of ourselves. So wherever you are, I'd love to invite you now to just join me in closing your eyes. And we're going to start with a few deep breaths as we go into this very simple body scan that was developed by UCLA, the Mindful Awareness Research Program at the University of California, Los Angeles. So closing your eyes, take a deep breath in and releasing it slowly. Taking another deep breath in, releasing it slowly. Becoming present, becoming aware of our breathing, becoming aware of this moment, because the truth is, this is the only moment that we have. The past is gone, it's a memory. The future we don't yet know, and it's quite turbulent at the moment, and it can cause us a lot of fear and anxiety when we think about the future. So it's important that we just stay in this present moment. And part of the ways that we do that is by being present to our body, and remembering that within our bodies we carry our tensions, we carry fear, we carry anxiety. So it's important to breathe into our body and become aware of how we're feeling. So I invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already. Start by bringing your whole attention to your body. Hopefully you're sitting down, but you could be standing, you can be lying down. But if you're sitting down, I want you to feel your feet grounded on the floor. Take a deep breath in here. And slowly release it. Become aware of your calf muscles and your knees. Move to your thighs. Feel the weight of your bottom sitting on the chair. Take a deep breath in here. And release it. Feel your back resting on the backrest of the chair and being supported by the chair. Now become aware of your tummy. Tummy is often a place where we hold a lot of tension or anxiety. So let's take a few deep breaths into this area of us. Breathing deeply in through your nose. Hold it and exhale. Become aware of your hands, any tension you might be feeling in your hands. You might want to rotate them in circles and release any tension you might be feeling. Let that attention now come to your arms. Continuing on, we arrive at our throat and our neck. You might just want to lift your shoulders. Again, we hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. Lift your shoulders up and release them down, breathing in and out all the time. Now come to your face. Is your face tight? Are you holding tension in your mouth? Are you furrowing your brow? Just release it now. Breathing in deeply and releasing. And now we are fully present in this moment, fully aware of our body and giving space for our spirit to rise up within us. I invite you, if you would like, we're going to do something that I love. It's called a breathing prayer. And I'm going to say the lines, and I invite you just to repeat them after me. But what I'd love for us to do tonight is, I'd love it if we decided, because I think this is a time where there's a lot of anxiety. As I said, there's a lot of fear. The breathing prayer is just a beautiful way of letting go of what we cannot control and breathing in. There's a beautiful bird song out right now. Breathing in the peace and spaciousness of God. So I'd like to invite you now, with your eyes closed, maybe you want to put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Now the idea of this prayer is, when you pray, I'm going to say the words over you and you're going to repeat them back, and you're going to breathe in when you're saying the words over yourself, and you can say them in the silence of your heart, and breathe out when I say the next line, but just with your eyes closed. Breathe this in. The Spirit of the Lord made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. Therefore, every breath that I breathe in is an acknowledgement of the life and power of God within me. And now we're going to begin. As I breathe in God's life-giving air, breathing in, I breathe out all poisons. Breathe it out. So I breathe in harmony. Breathe it in. And I breathe out all discord. Let it go. I breathe in courage. And I breathe out fear. I breathe in joy. And I breathe out depression. I breathe in strength. And I breathe out weakness. I breathe in confidence. Breathe it in. And I breathe out anxiety. I breathe in overwhelming love. And I breathe out all unkind thoughts. And so the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep my heart and mind in the knowledge and the love of Christ my Lord. Amen. Just sit here for a moment, continuing to breathe. You might want to open your eyes again. Come back to the present moment. How did that feel? Did you feel a release through that? It's so important to welcome our feelings and emotions and acknowledge that they're real. Another part of my practice that I find so helpful is something called the welcoming prayer. And it's simply, it's a tool, it's a wonderful tool to welcome thoughts and feelings and emotions that are perhaps frightening or for example, fear. The way that I sometimes used to view fear was something that I had to keep in a cupboard locked under the stairs. And occasionally I would open it up and it would, jump out at me. But the irony, the funny thing about fear or unchecked emotions is that they have a way of manifesting, perhaps not in the way that we're expecting them to, but they have a way of manifesting themselves or coming out and presenting in a different way. So my fear often came out in hypochondria, fear of illness. And I wouldn't necessarily call it fear, but I would be gripped with fear, thinking that I was ill, that I had some terrible illness. It seems quite appropriate at the moment. And I had to learn to love that part of me that held those fears. And I had to learn to almost embrace and love the fears themselves. As a friend once told me, the areas that we fear the most are the parts within us that we need the most love, that we need to speak to tenderly and gently. And often I think about it this way. I think if I had a friend who was going through a tough time, I would speak to them very gently and tenderly. So why is it that when we're going through a tough time, or we're having a hard time, or we're frightened about something, we so often beat ourselves up? We so often condemn ourselves and think, I should be stronger, I should, and we get caught up in the shoulds of life. I should be doing something different, I should be reading my Bible more, I should be praying more, I should not have this fear, I should be over this by now. And that doesn't help us. And so I find it helpful sometimes to speak to myself as if I was speaking to one of my best friends, with gentleness and tenderness. And the welcoming prayer allows me to do that. So I don't know if any of you have any fears or anxieties at the moment. Probably some of us do, around what's going on with the coronavirus. And so I'd like to invite you now just to close your eyes and just to maybe name that fear. Or maybe, for example, you're in a relationship where someone's hurt you and you're dealing with some unforgiveness and you don't really know how to resolve it. And maybe it goes on and plays in your mind and goes round and round in our mind, or we get caught up in the stories of life and the what ifs. What if we're in lockdown for the rest of our life, for example? What if this never goes away? And we get caught up in the stories, and the stories just get bigger and bigger and bigger and cause us to feel more fear and more anxious, instead of putting a pause on it and saying, no, I'm not going to get caught up in these thoughts and emotions anymore. I'm going to welcome them, and I'm going to allow myself to embrace them. So I want to invite you now once again to close your eyes, or you can keep them open, whatever works for you. And I'm just going to read these words out over you. And you might want to repeat them in your heart. And when it gets to the part, we don't actually, excuse me, we don't actually get to any particular part, but we're welcoming all of our feelings and emotions. I was going to say, when it gets to the part that you welcome your fear, we could start with that if you'd like. Why don't we see our fear as something we want to lay down on the altar before God, or our unforgiveness or our insecurity. We want to lay it down. So often when I'm doing the welcoming prayer, once again, I take my stone and I name it. I say, this is my fear. And then I place it down next to me. I'm a very physical, tactile person, and I find that it really helps me to lay it down. And then I just pray this over myself. So if you feel comfortable closing your eyes and repeating these words in your heart or out loud, whatever's comfortable for you, I invite you to do that now. So take a deep breath in and name whatever it is that's causing you anxiety or sadness or discomfort. Fear of the future, fear of the unknown, lack of faith, lack of trust, a health issue. With your eyes shut or open, repeat these words slowly and in your own time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I welcome everything that comes to me in this moment because I know it is for my healing. I welcome all thoughts, feelings, and emotions, persons, situations, and conditions. And now this is the powerful part. This is where we get to let go. I let go of my desire for security. I let go of my desire for affection. I let go of my desire for control. I let go of my desire to change any situation, condition, person, or myself. I open to the love and the presence of God and His healing action and grace within. And we find gradually that as we welcome these thoughts and emotions, we can then let them go. They start to lose the power to frighten us. They start to lose any power over us. And we start to make friends with them and realize they don't scare us anymore. And finally, we're going to finish with a contemplative silence, known also as the contemplative prayer, a prayer that's been prayed for thousands of years. And I first started sitting in contemplative silence or contemplative prayer about 15 years ago, and it's been life-changing for me. It's taught me so much about myself. It's taught me so much about God, and I can't recommend doing it highly. I can't recommend doing it more to you. So there's 3 steps to the contemplative prayer, and one of the things that people worry about is, what happens if I have thoughts in my head? Well, you probably will have thoughts in your head, and that's very normal. The idea of the contemplative prayer is not to not think. It's to almost watch our thoughts go by, as if watching cars traveling down a road, or seeing them like a film on a film screen. It's what we're trying to do is we choose a sacred word that we bring our thoughts, our attention back to, using also our breath. And we bring our intention and our thoughts, our breath into alignment with each other, basically. And we don't beat ourselves up when we get monkey mind and we start thinking about what we're going to cook for dinner, or what we need to do tomorrow. We just take it, and we're simply trying to create space around our thoughts and space for the Holy Spirit to rise up in us. Or if you don't have a faith, the space for wisdom to rise up in you, because we all carry wisdom within us. So I like to start with setting an intention for my practice, for my contemplative silence. And I was speaking to a friend of mine today. Well, actually, we were WhatsApping. And she said that last night she had, her name is Lucy, and she had been sitting in silence, contemplating on joy. And that really struck me. And she said, I still feel joyful this morning. And I thought that was so beautiful. And I think, couldn't we all use a bit of joy right now? A lot more joy than perhaps we're carrying. Yeah, I'm actually feeling quite joyful at the moment, but I realize that we're not all feeling joyful, and it's fleeting, it comes and goes. So I thought what I would love to do is to set the intention of our practice tonight as being, I would love to receive more joy. In the scriptures it says, the joy of the Lord is my strength. And I love that. So I am going to suggest that we meditate on that tonight, that the joy of Abba Father is our strength. So I invite you to close your eyes, and I'm just going to set my timer. We're going to do a short sit tonight for 5 minutes. If I can find my timer. So before we start, I'm going to be introducing the sacred word every few minutes, and that sacred word is going to be joy. Usually when you sit in silence, you'll choose your own sacred word, and you might want to do that tonight as well. And it just helps to anchor your thoughts so that they don't run all over the place. And when you find yourself thinking about what to cook for dinner tonight, for example, you can simply bring your mind and your attention back to your anchor word, to your sacred word, and using your breath, not beating yourself up, and allowing the thoughts to go by like those cars traveling down the road or watching a film on the screen. So now I'd like to just invite you again to close your eyes, and we're going to start with a few deep breaths in. And we're going to start by breathing in really deeply into our tummy and then releasing it out through our nose. So breathing in. And releasing out through your mouth. Breathing in again. And breathing out. The joy of the Lord is our strength. Breathing in. Breathing out. Joy. Breathing in. And breathing out. Remembering to breathe. Anchoring yourself in your sacred word. Joy. Laying your sacred word down like a feather on a pillow. Joy. Remembering to breathe. Breathing in. Breathing out. joy. Breathing in, breathing out. You're doing great. Joy. Remembering to breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. Allowing your thoughts to come and go. Coming back to your sacred word, joy. Breathing in, breathing out. Joy. Breathing in, breathing out. Joy. Take another really deep breath in. And release it. And come back slowly to the present moment. Open your eyes. How does that feel? I hope you feel more peaceful and more grounded and more able to cope with whatever challenges life is throwing at us at the moment. The idea of these contemplative meditation times is to build up a community of people who just want to know that there's someone out there. And I just want you to know that I'm here for you. If you have any questions, you can email me. My email is in the comments, hello@i61collective.com, or you can send me a message here on Facebook if you have any questions. I'm here, and I'm going to be carrying on doing these sessions once a week for people who want to join in and learn more about this silence. But I'd love to encourage you in the silence and the peace of your own home I'd love to encourage you to spend some time growing this practice of silence, because it is the richest practice journey that you'll have. I love this line that Thomas Merton, who was a monk, said. He said, "Silence is God's first language." And I certainly want to speak his language. So I invite you to do that as well in the quiet of your own home. But a prayer that I'm finding very helpful at the moment is the Serenity Prayer. And so I'm just going to pray that over you before we finish tonight. So if you want to close your eyes, and if you know it, join in. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. I wish you well. I wish you safe. I keep you in my prayers. God bless you, and hope to see you soon.